Despite years of low interest rates, personal debt levels in Canada remain stubbornly high. And while most people want to shed that debt as quickly as possible, it can be tough to do. Nina Mazar is co-founder of the behavioral economics consulting firm BE Works and professor of marketing at the Boston University Questrom School of Business. And her work might just help nudge people along, particularly where credit card debt is concerned. Nina Mazar joins us now, and it's nice to have you here in our studio.
Thank you very much.
How big an issue do you think credit card debt truly is?
It's a huge issue. It's millions of dollars here in Canada, in the US, worldwide. So, yeah.
Millions of dollars sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot if we're handling it well. Are we handling it well?
Sadly, no. Sadly, no. I think we all have our best intentions. We want to pay off our loans as soon as we can. But, you know, life gets in the way, and so we fall off the wagon. So, you know, it's very similar to you want to eat well, and then there are some fries, and you eat the fries.
So we got to stop eating the fries when it comes to debt.
Yes.
Okay. We hear this expression all the time, being delinquent in our debt. Do you have any guess at what percentage of people are just delinquent in paying off their debts?
I don't know what the stats are here in Canada. I think the latest I had in the US were somewhere around 4% or 5%.
Now, again, that doesn't sound like very much.
Doesn't sound like much.
But?
Well, it is very meaningful for every single person that is delinquent at the end of the day.
Huh. Now, your specialty, of course, is behavioral economics.
Correct.
What do behavioral economics tell us about why there is so much debt?
Well, there are many, many reasons for that. But one specific aspect that we looked into is something that is called a lack of implementation intention. So it's just that, you know, we want to do the right thing. We really have the best intentions, so similar to eating well or exercising, actually, for that matter. But life gets in the way, and so we postpone it and we postpone it and postpone it, and then we never get around doing what we actually wanted to do. And so from a behavioral economics perspective or from a psychological perspective, once you understand this, then you can think about ways to help people, to remind them of their good intention, and also help them think through how they may be best able to act upon them.
Well, the traditional way of handling this, I would think, is you want to incentivize people, so a carrot, to pay off their debt, or you want to use the stick, you know, punishment if you don't.
Yeah.
Does behavioral economics take a different approach?
Absolutely.
How so?
So what you just said is the standard economic approach. And from a behavioral economics perspective, we say, well, those standard approaches are very good. So for example, if I'm delinquent, in the US at least, very often it happens that then immediately after being 1 month delinquent, I actually have to pay a late fee, right? That's your stick here. But from a behavioral economics perspective, it's more like, okay, well, if I know that you want to pay it, but you just don't get around doing it, okay, what can I do now to change that? So let me give you a very concrete example.
Sure.
So we recently actually worked with a credit card company, and they said, look, after 1 month delinquency, so if people have not paid their minimum monthly due, they get an automatic voice recording message. So you get a phone call, you pick up, and it says, hello, this is so-and-so bank. Is this Nina that I'm talking to, basically? And I said, yes, that's me. So I press 1, and then I hear, you have a total due amount of, let's say, $100. Have you already paid? Press 1. Are you going to pay in 3 days? Press 2. If you want to speak to an agent, press 3. I said, oh, I have not paid yet. I will pay in 3 days. I press 2. And then I just hear, thank you, goodbye, and that's it. Now, first of all, many people, unfortunately, are not very literate when it comes to credit card debt. So just hearing you have a total due does not necessarily sound threatening. I may not understand what it actually means. And so if you understand that, then you may think about, well, can we actually use simpler language and explain a little bit more exactly what this means? So what if we say, you know what, you have not paid your minimum due. You have to pay that because otherwise, next month we will have to report your delinquency to credit bureaus. And then actually getting more credit will be more expensive, it will be harder. There are all kinds of repercussions. So you could explain this in 2-3 sentences with simple language. That's the first thing. It's almost common sense, I would say.
Does that actually work, though?
It does work to some extent. So we do know that financial literacy education is unfortunately not working too well. But then comes the next step. So I'm just saying, as a first step, that's a low-hanging fruit. Why not just do that
So
as a first step?
And so push 1, push 2, push 3, that actually does get some people to say, oh yeah, I haven't paid my bills yet, I will do so.
If you only needed the simple reminder,
A simple nudge.
getting this IVR message, hearing, oh, you haven't paid, perfect, it will work.
Okay.
But if you need more than just a reminder, then now, first of all, getting the explanation of what it actually means is, I think, useful. But then what we thought was like, well, you know, people really have the best intentions, but life gets in the way. Can we help them think through, what does it actually mean if I say, I will pay in 3 days? And so instead of just saying thank you and goodbye after having pressed I will pay in 3 days, we actually said, wait a second, are you going to pay in 24 hours? Press 1, 36 hours, press 2, and so on.
Okay.
So very simple intervention. But the point here was to think about, well, wait a second, 24 hours, I had a conference yesterday, I'm here today at an interview, 24 hours will not work. 36 hours, not either. 48 hours, let's say that's tomorrow. Tomorrow I actually may have 2 hours in my day where I can do this. So just help you think it through, simulate your days to find out where are actually spots where I can act.
And the process of actually thinking it through gets more people to actually do it.
Correct.
Really?
Correct.
Really?
And then we added even another tweak. So for some group of people, once they indicated 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours, we then said, okay, Nina, you just indicated that you will pay within 48 hours. To commit to this pledge, press 1. So now it becomes a personal commitment on top of that.
So you're really putting your reputation on the line. If you push 1, you better mean it.
Yes, because otherwise the robot on the other end will get very upset with you.
How often do you, okay, so you've done these tests and you have empirically provable evidence that people actually improve their performance if you do this.
Absolutely. So we were able to reduce delinquency by like 4%.
By how much?
About 4%, which is quite meaningful. 3 to 4%, depending on how you analyze the data. Yes.
Is that meaningful?
It's extremely meaningful.
Really? Because
Yes.
when I hear you've improved it by 4%, that suggests to me that for 96% of the people it had no impact at all.
Oh, no. Well, you have to think about, well, what is the baseline? So in this particular case, the company, when they sent the IVR message, about 72% of customers actually paid as a consequence of just receiving the IVR.
Okay.
So it was already relatively successful, but there is still a number of people who don't act.
So 4% of the 28%.
From 72% now higher, that is what we did.
I get it. Why do you think, again, I'm sure you've studied this, why is there a gap between I intend to pay my bills and I will pay my bills? Why does that gap exist?
Well, that is an interesting question, right? There are various reasons for that. One is very simple. I just need a reminder. I sheer forget, right? Because again, life gets in the way. So that's why we have calendars. That's why we put sticky notes all over. That's why sometimes it actually works also well if we get some postcards with reminders of dates for vaccinations or whatnot that we can put on our fridge so that we are constantly reminded of acting on it.
Okay, but
that's the first thing.
But okay, I'm going to jump in here because
Sure.
if I got a phone call from somebody saying, if you do this within 24 hours, and we will give you $1 million, life would not get in the way. We would find time to do that.
But that's expensive, and you see, our nudge didn't cost anything, right? It's very easy to change the script, type it into the computer, and just an automated voice message reading it to you. So that is the essence of a nudge, to use insights from psychology to get people to change their behavior for the better, and it's typically in a very simple and cheap way. In this particular case, really, basically nothing.
What percentage of people do you think don't pay because somewhere in the irrationality of their thinking, they're thinking, I forgot to pay, and maybe the bank will forget that I owe them the money, and we'll just, you know.
I don't know. I mean, I know that we are really good at rationalizing
Exactly.
things and imagining things, but I have a hard time thinking that people really think that.
But they might want to try to convince themselves that that's the possibility.
Yeah, and actually, well,
I
they may
forgot.
also succeed.
I forgot, and maybe the bank will forget, and we can just go on with our merry
That would be
lives.
so nice, right?
Probably not,
Yeah.
right. Okay, you've talked about credit card debt. Could other debts be resolved in using similar fashions?
Yeah, I think any type of debt or any type of delinquency. So as I also mentioned, with eating well or exercising. So any situation where we have the intention to do something but are not acting upon it, I think lends itself to interventions that are based on psychological insights. Any of that. Unless you are assuming, like, for example, in the context with the credit card, unless you are assuming that people have the best intentions but are not acting because they cannot. Like, for example, if I do not have the money, it doesn't matter what intervention you will use, people will just not be able to pay.
But hopefully credit card debt tends to be the smallest debt that you have. You know, your credit card debt should be presumably smaller, than your house payment or a car payment or something like that.
That's fair.
So if you could nudge people to improve their paying back the financial institution with a series of phone calls for credit card debt, could you do the same for car payments or mortgage payments? Would it work?
I don't see why it would not, as long as people do have the money, yes.
As long as they have the cash available.
Yeah.
If you take this kind of practice sort of further down the road, is there any estimate as to how many more millions or even billions of dollars financial institutions could see repatriated by the simple use of this kind of nudge?
I don't have any numbers on hand. I'm very bad when it comes to that. But I just think that the potential is endless. There are so many possibilities out there where companies are just not thinking so much, I think, from the customer's perspective, or actually from a human perspective. You know? Like, just think about the language that we often encounter in all kinds of situations. I sometimes have to read through contracts or consent forms or whatnot 3-4 times to think about, okay, well, what did this just say?
Again, on the theory of behavioral economics, does it make more sense to nudge people as opposed to, and I'm being figurative here, sort of beating them over the head with the knowledge that they are delinquent and get to it?
Yeah. Well, in an ideal world, me as an experimenter, I would actually like to run an experiment where I really compare all those different possibilities, like a carrot, a stick, various behavioral insights, interventions, or just persuasion, teaching them. I would love to compare those to really find how useful and effective each one of them is. At the end of the day, I do think it is important to stress that these are all complements. I'm not saying that it should be only interventions based on behavioral insights.
It's this
I don't
plus
think so.
other things
I do
as
think
well.
it's important to think about what is the right mix, and it may vary from situation to situation.
Because one does wonder, use the same example. If I called you up and instead of giving you a nice little nudge, are you going to pay me back in 24 hours or 36 hours? If I said, if you don't pay me back in 24 hours, I'm going to call your employer.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take an ad out in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to stand at the corner of Young and
Naming,
Bloor and I'm going to
shaming
shout your name.
Has been done, yeah.
Does that work better?
Again, does it work better? I'm not so sure, but there are all kinds of factors that come into play. Like, what are the costs? What are the benefits? Is it ethical? What will be the reaction of the general population? Are you really doing a good thing here? Are you really helping the customer? I mean, there are a lot of things that you would like to consider.
Right. You always pay your credit cards back on time, right?
Always.
Always. I knew that about you. Okay, good. Nina, thanks a lot for your help on this.
Thank you
Nina
very much.
Mazar, co-founder, BE Works, professor of marketing at the Boston University Questrom School of Business.
The Agenda with Steve Bacon is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, helping businesses stay on the right side of change with strategic thinking, insightful decisions, and business leadership. Are you on the right side of change? Ask an Ontario CPA.